Hello and welcome to another gauge demo from fitgauges.com. Today I'm going to take you through my 200 plus water takeoffs gauge. Now this is a series of gauges that I've done that basically relocate your aircraft at a click of a button to any one of many locations listed in the gauge itself. Okay, so on the home page we have a little indication of what the buttons and dials do. It explains that the S6 button will take you to your takeoff location that has been selected in the list. The left dial will scroll the destination list up and down, and the right dial will change the time zone for the location that you're going to go to, so you can set what time you want it to be no matter where it is within the world that you're relocating to. To leave the home page, you just spin the left dial and move the list up and down. So we'll spin that to the right, and as you can see, this is the list of all the various locations that are available, and you can scroll that list up and down using the left dial. On a physical FIP, you can spin the left dial and you've got acceleration, so you can spin it faster. Unfortunately, the acceleration doesn't work on a virtual FIP, but if you use the dial in a physical FIP, like I am at the moment, you can see I can move the list pretty quickly up and down through the various different locations. Okay, so before I go through actually going to some of these locations, I'm just going to cover what the buttons do. So the S1 button will open and close the menu. The S2 button will toggle the water rudder on or off. So if we go to the external view, you can see that the rudder is not down, it's actually in the up position, but if you press the S2, you can see that it's toggling the water rudder at the back of the plane there, and I can use my feet to steer the water rudder. And you press S2 again, and then the water rudder comes up. Okay, back in aircraft now. The S3 button, well, that will basically turn the themes to a light or dark theme. So you can choose between a light or dark, and that's your personal preference. S4, now S4 button will do a cold and dark start. So at the moment you can see the little icon down here, the little piston. It's got a little green light on it, which indicates that it will relocate with the engine running. If you toggle that with the S4 button, you'll see the red light will indicate that the engine is not running now, and that it will set you up with a cold and dark start. The S5 button is the manual toggle between the local time, so you can set the local time or you can set the personal preference time. So you can set the hour in which you want it to start, or if you press S5 you can just toggle it to local time, so no matter where you locate you'll always use the time at that location and it won't be overridden by the time from the right dial. But I like to start at midday. Okay, so last but not least is the S6 button, and the S6 button is basically the button that will send you to your chosen location. So once you've found the location of your choice, you simply then press the S6 button and it will then take you there.
Welcome to FAA New Bay, French Polynesia.
So you'll get a text to speech to let you know where it is you're locating to, and you'll get a little indication on the gauge here about the state of the relocation. So at the moment it's in process of finalizing, and now it's ready. You'll see that I've done a cold and dark start, so you'll see that the engine is dead and there's nothing actually running at all. You can see that the actual aircraft is drifting a little bit as we speak. Okay, so if I wanted to start my takeoff with the engine running, I can toggle the cold and dark off, the little green light comes on, and I can do my approach again. I press S6.
Welcome to FAA New Bay, French Polynesia.
Again, it's scanning the scenery, just making certain that everything is okay before it releases it back into the aircraft, and then we're ready again. And this time it's starting the engines and everything's ready for us to start to taxi away from our location. And there's some really beautiful sceneries on this gauge. You'll get to see places that you never even dreamed of going to before. So let's select something else from the list. Let's go to, what should we go to? Hobson's Bay. I press S6.
Welcome to Hobson's Bay, Australia.
It's relocating, it's loading the scenery, it's found water. Still loading the scenery, it's finalizing. You can skip the finalizing stage, the yellow stage with the S6 button. It's basically monitoring for the fluctuations in the altitude of the aircraft while the scenery is still loading, and if there is some fluctuations it will reset it, and we'll just reset the timer and it will just carry on and give you another 10-15 seconds for it to just finalize that scenery. Let's go and select something else. Tokyo Harbor, Japan. Sounds good. S6.
Welcome to Tokyo Harbor, Japan.
Again, we're relocating. Scenery is loading. It's found water. And it's finalizing. And here we are on the old Hudson River in New York. Let's go off somewhere else. Alcatraz, San Francisco Bay.
Welcome to Alcatraz, San Francisco Bay.
If you have any problems during the relocation phase, the plane does anything really odd, then just press the S6 button again, and that should hopefully help. It's rare, but occasionally the plane does some odd things. I do my best to identify whether the scenery is actually finished loading or not before I put you back in the plane, but sometimes there are some unforeseen circumstances. So any issues, then just hit the S6 button again.
Welcome to Alcatraz, San Francisco Bay.
Milford Sound is a lovely location.
Welcome to Milford Sound, Payapayatarhai, Southland, New Zealand.
Not the scenery to generate on this particular one. But there are some amazing places you'd never dream of going to before, and there are over 200 lovely locations for you to start your flights from. So let's cover the menu. Pressing this one button will actually take you into the menu. I'm going to go through this very briefly. It's only a small number of functions within the menu anyway. You can turn the virtual power on and off using the S6 button on the version and info page. There's a separate tutorial for virtual power, but S6 will toggle the virtual power on and off. The time of day function will enable you to set the time of day that you want to start your flight at. Next function is a cold and dark setting. If you decide to reprogram these buttons here, you can still access the functions within the menu itself. So you can set that to start cold and dark or start with engine running. Next function is the light and dark theme. Again, you can toggle the light and dark themes here in the menu. And last but not least, you can set the brightness controls of all of the FIPS in your setup, or this particular FIP. This only adjusts the brightness controls of the physical FIPS. It doesn't affect virtual FIPS at all. S2 will toggle between global FIP brightness and individual FIP brightness, and the left dial will just make the change to that particular function. Now you can press S1 and hold it to exit the menu straight away, or you can scroll back to the first entry in the menu and then press S1 just the once for it to exit as well. So that's the gauge. I hope you found this tutorial demo useful, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to come back and check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.